Welcome back here with us on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. Viewers, Mirror Now stays committed to speaking for the common man. In sync with our motto, we today revisit the issue flagged by Supreme Court yesterday, not us. The issue of lifetime pension to personal staff of ministers, leader of opposition, chief whip in Kerala. While the Kerala government representatives and ruling parties' affiliates are dismissing the issue by saying, what's the big deal? The common man has reacted strongly. A retired brigadier called us during the show yesterday. After decades of wearing the olive green uniform with pride and valor, his pension, he said, was 58,000 rupees. People are questioning the dole to political appointees in Kerala government offices because this is bleeding the exchequer. The Supreme Court said it's a unique to Kerala political pension scheme by the state government. No other channel is dedicating time to this issue because it is about taxpayers' money, your money, which is being used in a way to reward cadres by governments in Kerala since April 1984. Now, just to put things in perspective, a person who has served as personal staff to any Kerala minister and few other offices is entitled to a minimum pension of 3,550 rupees plus 7% DA plus gratuity. And the maximum pension limit is 83,400 rupees, which is almost the salary of a senior government employee. Now, this, viewers, has been costing the exchequer over 80 crore rupees per month. If salaries of government employees have to be fixed, it is decided by pay commission created by Acts of Parliament. If salaries or pension of President and Vice President of India or the Prime Minister or MPs has to be fixed, it is fixed after a nod of Parliament. But in Kerala, in fact, this cozy arrangement hasn't been ratified even by the Assembly. It is through a cabinet decision or, simply put, an executive order. In Kerala, the agricultural labour pension per person is 1,600 rupees. Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme for each person is 1,600 rupees. Indira Gandhi National Disability Pension Scheme for each is 1,600 rupees. And pension for unmarried women above 50 years is 1,600 rupees. Indira Gandhi National Widow Pension Scheme that also exists is about 1,600 rupees per person. And look at the pension that we are talking about here for people appointed as personal staff of ministers in the state of Kerala. Huge difference. And that too only after 2 years of service. Now, for each of these that I just now mentioned, for the common people in Kerala, there is a criteria that is fixed. One has to be below a certain income group or above a certain age bracket. The criteria for pension is loyalty to the politician who holds an office or perhaps the party. Here I'm talking about the political pension. So tonight on Urban Debate, we want to ask you again, is this fair? Is this not a case of arbitrary abuse of power and waste of taxpayers' money? Should the Kerala government feel accountable to review the political pension scheme? Viewers, you can call us on the numbers that are flashing at the bottom of your screen and share with us what you think about this pension scheme that we have for Kerala specifically, for people who work as personal staff of ministers in Kerala government. Joining us on the broadcast right now is Vinita Hariharan, spokesperson Kerala State BJP, Krishnendu Suresh Kumar, who is an advocate, joining us on the broadcast, A.N. Shamsher, MLA and spokesperson CPIM, also live with us, and we are joined by Manasvi Thapar, lawyer and political analyst. Thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. A.N. Shamsher, I want to begin the discussion with you. You know, since yesterday, we've been focusing on this particular story because Supreme Court observed that Kerala is the only state in the country which has a scheme wherein you become eligible for pension after just 2 years of service. And here, the person who becomes eligible doesn't really have to go through any kind of a government process or an examination to become eligible for this person. It is how you are affiliated to the political party, what is it that you are doing for the minister. That is your eligibility criteria. Is it fair, Mr. Shamsher?
Yeah, first of all, I want to make my point clear. Yesterday, Honorable Supreme Court Justice Nasir has made some oral comments regarding the when some case came before him regarding the KSRTC issue. So he had made such comments. It's real. But the one thing, the Mirror now is misleading the people by propagating false and lies. Look, what is here? You are telling the person who is working in ministers' personal staff is getting much more amount. As per my knowledge, they are getting pension, not much amount. The minimum pension is 2,000 or 2,000 something else. Look, as far as our left government is concerned, our minister staff is 25.
Mr. Shamsher, I want to interrupt here and I want you to clarify for my viewers. Why are you saying Mirror Now is misleading the people? Do you not have a scheme for people who work as personal staff or, personal staff for ministers and leader of opposition, etc., and the chief minister in Kerala? Is this incorrect?
Look, you are propagating half-baked truths. I agree with you. Ministers have staff.
No, is this true or not? Is this true or not? No, one second. Mr. Shamsher,
they are getting more amount.
Mr. Shamsher, is this true or not? No, 1 second. I don't think you heard, my introduction because I gave there all the details.
Shall I ask one question very frankly to you?
Is this true or not that there is a pension scheme? Is this true or not that there is a pension scheme for the personal staff of ministers? Yes or no, Mr. Shamsher?
Are you interrogating or interviewing? If you are interrogating, I am not ready to cooperate with you.
If you want to interview,
you can ask me
questions. You have
directly.
accused me, you have accused Mirror Now of misleading the people of this country. So I want clarification from you, Mr. Shamsher.
I don't know who is the... I don't know
when I asked you a straight question, instead of responding to my question, you started targeting the messenger. You said that we are misleading the people. So I want to understand from you. I need to know how are we misleading the people of this country? Is there a scheme or no?
But
of course, that is what you are doing. That is exactly what you are doing.
I am not I am not shooting the messenger. But messenger should show some patience to hear me. You are telling half-baked truths. Yeah, pension is there, I'm agreeing with you. But the amount you is propagating to the channel is totally false. The person who is working 2 years is minimum. Look, as far as the left government is concerned, the pension has been started by UDF in 84. That you had mentioned, that is true. And the one thing on the other side, the person who is working in staff, the minister has got staffs. As per left is concerned, we have 25 staffs. In that, 15 or 16 from government staff, government employees, they are deputing to minister staff. Nearly maximum up to 10. We are posting as an OA, office assistant. They are getting a few amount as pension. Then you are publishing through the channel that they are getting more amount than a brigadier. It is totally false. They are getting a small amount. It is fact. I am agreeing with your point.
There is a PIL. But
at the same time,
Mr. Shamsher, I don't think whether you are aware or not, but there is a PIL. There is a PIL that has been filed against this particular issue, and this is where it is mentioned that up to 83,000 odd rupees is what a person gets under this particular pension scheme. Can you tell me how much is the pension that is currently being given to such people? How many people have been appointed since 1984, and how much is it really costing the exchequer every single year? Can you share this data with me?
The amount that you had shared through the channel is totally wrong. We are spending from the exchequer,
give me the correct amount, sir.
From the state. You can't deny that. You can't set aside the law.
Why don't you give me the correct number then? How much are you spending? How many such people are there? It is very convenient to question and target the messenger. No, you are not agreeing with me. You accused me of misguiding the people. I want to understand from you, then give me the correct numbers.
But
because the data that I'm quoting is from a PIL that has been filed here.
from where you got the data, I don't know. Somebody, a public interest litigation, I heard that. I had gone through the articles in the media, in the printed papers, that somebody has filed PIL. Let them come before the court, and the court has decided what is the final decision has been taken by the court. We can wait for that. But one thing I can clear, the maximum pension that a
why don't you give me the correct amount? If you are saying, Mr. Shamsher, that I am incorrect, I am giving wrong information to the people, why don't you give me the correct amount? Okay, forget PIL. Forget about PIL. You are confident, that our number is wrong. The number that is being quoted in the PIL is wrong. Okay, you give me three numbers. One, how many people today as, under this scheme are eligible for pension? What is the amount that they are getting? And how much is it costing the exchequer? Just three numbers can I request you to give me?
Look, that three number I can't say right now. The one thing I can say, those who has been appointed
then
as a political
how can you say the numbers that I am giving you are incorrect?
They are a less number. And also they are getting below 10,000. And those who are working they are continuing. You people are spreading that they are changing in every 2 years. It is totally false. That is being totally.
You don't want to give me the correct number, and you want to say that the numbers we are talking about are incorrect. I mean, you also need to show some proof, sir. Mr. Shamsher, I'm asking you a direct question. I'm ready to accept that the numbers that I am giving today are incorrect, provided you give me the correct numbers. You tell me, sir, you tell me, you tell me how many such people are there, how much is it costing the exchequer, and what is the amount as pension that is currently going.
That I can't say right now, at this juncture I can't say now. But I can say the amount that is exaggerated amount is used propagating through the channel. Exaggerated amount. You are exaggerating the point.
You are calling it an exaggeration. You are calling it an exaggeration, but you have no data to show me. You are calling it an exaggeration, Mr. Shamsher, but you have no data to prove me wrong. How should I believe you then?
Yeah, that we had to collect from the... Look, you had to call me the debate in the night. Look, I can say one thing, that I will collect from the assembly and I will give it to you, I'm sure. But right now, I can say one thing very frankly.
Perfect.
The news that you are showing through the channel is half-baked truths. I am agreeing with you that pension is there. I am agreeing with you. Only least number of people getting pension. But you are propagating and you are exaggerating your point to make confused. No,
we are not exaggerating. Today, you do not have any data to show me. Oh, please, Mr. Shamsher, you have no data to present to me to prove that we are exaggerating. What are you talking about, Mr. Shamsher? What data do you have today to suggest that what I am saying, what is being said in that PIL that has been filed in this particular issue is an exaggeration? You have no data to show to us. And here, by the way, 83,000 odd, the amount that I have mentioned, it is up to that amount. What did I say? 3,550 rupees is the pension amount. Mr. Shamsher, I don't think you heard me correctly. 3,550 rupees is the pension amount. Then there is DA, then there is gratuity. The pension amount is only 3,550 rupees. The question here is about why and what makes them eligible to secure this pension out of taxpayers' money. What makes them eligible to secure the pension from taxpayers' money when crores of taxpayers in this country do not have a social security scheme?
We are only getting 20,000 as pension. I can say one thing, gentle anchor, you show some patience. I can say one thing, that only MLA can get only 20,000 if he has completed his 5 years. That is the minimum pension. That is giving. As per the other states as concerned, Kerala is giving least pension to the MLAs. Then how the government will give more than to that personal staff? So it is totally false, I can say. But I am agreeing with you one point, that pension is there, that I am agreeing with you. That pension is not started by left. It has been started by UDF at the time of 84. I can say that.
Okay. Vinita Hariharan, the pension
Hello?
is there. At least one thing, Mr. Shamsher is agreeing with. Of course, he does not want to believe the data, but that's mentioned in the PIL. He does not have any data to tell us, to tell our viewers, to show to our viewers as far as this pension is concerned. How much is it really costing the exchequer? But I want to ask you, is it fair to even have a scheme like this when crores of taxpayers across Kerala, across the country, are not assured of a social security or a pension scheme? And here you
Absolutely.
have some people just get eligible after 2 years of service.
Absolutely. So I think it's not the figure, the amount that is so important. It's about the number of years, just 2 years of service, and they're eligible for a pension. It's a travesty of natural justice. Just as you said, the brigadier spends so many years in service and then he gets eligible for a pension. It's about how you struggle and you reach a certain level to be eligible for pension from our money, from our taxpayers' money. So we also need to reflect upon the current budget of the Kerala government. It just announced in February 11th. The finance minister declared a revenue deficit of about 27,000 crore, which increased from 16,000 crore last year, which is including after taking into account the 15 finance commission grants that were given by the center. So the state is heading towards a real dangerous situation as far as the financial health is concerned. And the committed liabilities last year was 70%, and the 70% of revenue expenditure was committed liabilities, which included salaries and pensions. So it's a huge amount that's going towards salaries and pensions. So there is a limit to what a welfare economy can do to a state. And this is actually creating moral hazard, because after 2 years of service, what do these people do? They go and join the unemployment pool. And so that's what it is all about. This is a vicious cycle that is being created. So there's less of enterprise economy and more of welfare economy being created by such measures. And this is the only state which has this kind of a rule where 2 years of service and they're eligible for a pension. Nowhere in India this is done. So Kerala is never fitting into the jigsaw puzzle like a jigsaw puzzle with the entire state is what I would say.
Okay, Krishnendu, Suresh Kumar, at a time when the financial health of the state is in dire straits, do you think something like this is fair?
Regarding the same, our nation is currently going through a bad phase, that is after the surge of COVID and all. And we are predicting a huge increase in inflation as well. And at this current juncture, spending exchequer's money on giving pension to those people who complete 2 years is not at all acceptable for the public. I don't think the judiciary either will accept the same, especially with regard to the state of Kerala, which is running from the revenue of liquor, leverage, and lottery. And this is not a good sign that we accommodate with people's money. We accommodate a lot of political cadres and giving them pensions. I am not against giving political appointments in the sense like a minister is supposed to select his own private staff based on his equation with them, and based on the ministry's policies, they are supposed to keep some secrecies and all. I totally agree by the same. But giving pensions, I cannot agree with the same, especially after 2 years or something. And also, one thing I would like to clarify that as far as knowledge is concerned, the amount that a person, the maximum amount that a person is supposed to receive, even if he or she is running for the full 10 years, I mean, is in a position in the ministry staff for a continuous period of 10 years. I mean, if he or she is accommodated in the 2 consecutive governments also, they are not supposed to earn more than 10,000 or 12,000 rupees. And currently, a person, whether even if he is a private secretary to the minister, he is only supposed to get around 8,000 to 9,000 rupees as pension if he is running full, I mean, more than 2 years, up to 5 years. So the amount that you have mentioned earlier, that is regarding 35,000, is a little exaggerated. I'm not saying that that is intentionally done, but there is
No,
a mistake.
it's not the amount that we have calculated. It is the amount, let me just clarify again for all my viewers and my guests as well. Krishnendu, this amount has not been given by us. It's mentioned in the PIL. And just now I was trying to get the data from Mr. Shamsher as well, who called this amount exaggerated just like you did. But he did not have data to, show us what is it at this point in time. So, now we want the government to tell us how much is it, because it's clearly a burden on the exchequer, but nobody really knows. The PIL is the only source right now which claims that this is the kind of amount that is going as pension, and that is the reason why we are having this debate. That is the reason why we have Mr. Shamsher with us on the show to help us understand what the reality really is. But before that, before I go back to Mr. Shamsher, let me go across to Manaswi. Manaswi, all this has been going on since 1984. For even to increase the salary of MLAs, etc., the discussion happens in the assembly. There is a bill, but this has been going on. This cozy arrangement has been going on only via an executive order, because it was the cabinet decision.
Yeah. So the only point of concern for me would be the timeline. 2 years is something which could be of a concern, but the amount here is not an amount which is very high. I think it has been exaggerated, while there is very less information on what is the exact amount and how many people. In one of the report, it says from 2016 to 2021, there have been only 325 appointments. And in this whole arrangement since last 5 years, the total amount the exchequer have given as pension is around 25 to 30 crores. So this is a report from one of the news articles. So the point here is it has been exaggerated to a long extent. While we talk about social security, while we talk about pension schemes, I think this could be a great step wherein other political parties and other states should also follow. Obviously, the timing of 2 years has to be increased, and it has to be justified. Who are the people who are getting this pension? Who are the people who are getting on roll? And not everyone, as it is being reported by those people in opposition or in center, that every 2 year people retire and it's an arrangement that 1/3 or half of the people retire and then new people are added on and they enter into the cadre of the party. That is not the case. While that data is also not with the people who are actually criticizing this policy, and that is a rarity. So the idea here is there is a PIL which has been filed. The governor is not happy with this arrangement. The oral criticism by the Supreme Court judge has been done. So that is why this has come into the light. But all said and done, are we against this policy? That has something to be talked about. Are we with this policy? But the idea here is the opposition in Kerala have also enjoyed it. The leader of opposition also get this facility. All the MLAs get this deputy speaker, everyone is getting this facility. So everyone is enjoying this particular facility. So why such a hue and cry on something which those people who don't even matter here in this matter, in this whole controversy, are making this an important issue, while this is not. And the total corpus of fund since last 5 years is only 25 to 30 crores, which is a large amount in a state like Kerala. But don't we think this also acts as a social security for people in Kerala? While we talk about such kind of inflation in the country, this becomes an added advantage for people in Kerala to actually work for the state. Why do we think this is for a political party? Tomorrow BJP can be in power, and this will aid the BJP workers also if they believe that this is for a political advantage. On the contrary, the people who are appointed in this particular scheme are of the age group of 30 to 35. When they retire, they may retire after 2 years, they may retire after 5 years, they may not retire. The point here is this would act as a social security. You may increase the number of years you would have to serve in the service. That could be 5 years, but you cannot outrightly say that the scheme is a wrong scheme. On the contrary, I believe it's a socialist scheme. It's good.
No, I am not questioning the scheme here. I am only talking about how the scheme is being implemented in the state of Kerala, how it is being operated, how it's being used only, it was a cabinet decision of 1984, which has been continuing. It was an executive order that is being used right now. But Mr. Shamsher, coming back to you, forget about amount here, because we'll wait for you to share some data with us. Let's ask, why even 1 rupee? And also my another question to you is that you oppose UDF tooth and nail, but you are okay to accept this pension scheme that was created by UDF.
Look, on the other side, somebody has discussed that Kerala in the revenue deficit. I am agreeing with you. But the people who is watching Mirror now should know what are the measures in Kerala. We are giving 55 lakh people social security pensions. The only state, those who is giving social security pensions without any disturbance is Kerala. I can say very proudly. And also we are giving free treatment to the people, the poor. We are giving free treatment to the those who have got serious diseases. That is happening in Kerala. Free education, free food, free. At the time of COVID, we had given free kits to the people. That is the only state. Look, in Kerala, a lot of migrant workers are working here. Will the Mirror now go and ask them to the migrant workers, what is the situation at the time of COVID? Are you happy with the government of Kerala? They will say yes, because we treated them as our guest. That is Kerala.
But Mr. Shamsher, this is not a social welfare scheme or a social security scheme. Why are you retracting? I'm talking about this political pension scheme. Did you bring this issue via a bill in the assembly? No.
This is not a political pension.
It was a cabinet decision.
This is not a political pension. You are misleading the people. Look, you are misleading.
No.
Again, you are
Then
misleading.
you tell me. One second. I'm not 1 second. You cannot keep on saying I am misleading without even answering my question. Mr. Shamsher, every time I ask you something, you only have one thing to say, you are misleading. Then please clarify, no? Help us understand what the situation is. Why are we calling it political pension? Where in this entire country, be it about state governments or central government, a person gets eligible for pension within 2 years of service? You tell me.
No, that's not happening here. The person, there is no changing those who the
But
government
this is
has
exactly
came to
what
power,
the Supreme Court has said.
Staff will be up to 5
But
years.
this is exactly what Supreme Court had said yesterday. Kerala is the only state in the country where the political.
Show some patience.
1 second, Mr. Shamsher. I don't think you have understood the situation. I don't think you have heard my question. Supreme Court yesterday observed that Kerala is the only state in the country where the personal staff of ministers, get eligible for pension within 2 years of service. That does not happen anywhere in the country. Tomorrow, if RSS cadres are appointed as personal staff of some BJP ministers in some BJP ruled states and they start getting pension like this, will this be okay with you?
Look, I am telling one thing. Anyhow, the remarks made by the Supreme Court was very unfortunate. Look, judges should not comment by seeing the newspaper. They had to collect the data, what's happening here. Look, we are not giving this much of amount. Now, what is the pension, social security pension here we are giving to the people? 1,600 per month. Likewise, only a nominal pension is giving to the person, those who has worked in a personal staff for 5 years, getting only 1,600, 2,000 rupees. Is this a crime? The person who is working
it's not about the amount here. It is about this pension scheme. Okay, Mr. Shamsher, if the idea is social welfare, if the idea, 1 second, Mr. Shamsher, if the idea is social welfare, if that's your intention, then why don't you extend it to all the MLAs that are there in the state of Kerala? Why don't you bring a bill in the assembly? Why still operate via an executive order, something that was passed way back in 1984 in the cabinet there? Who's stopping you? It's your state.
MLAs are getting pension. MLAs are getting pension. MLAs are getting pension
talking about
in
the
Kerala.
Staff,
but the other states, they are getting more amount.
MLAs.
But Kerala
I'm
is very
talking
less.
about personal
you are not
staff
discussing that. No judges are making comments about that.
I'm talking about personal staff of MLAs.
No judges are making comments about that. Personal staffs of MLAs is not getting any pension.
Now you're questioning the Supreme Court as well.
Somebody has misleaded you.
So you are now questioning Supreme Court. Are you planning to approach Supreme Court on this particular issue? Are you then planning to approach
So,
Supreme
please,
Court in this
30
particular
seconds,
issue,
please give
Mr.
30
Shamsheer?
seconds. Those who are getting,
Are you planning to approach Supreme Court? Since you called the
those who
comments
are
by
getting
Supreme
more
Court
pensions, they
unfortunate,
are from
are you
government
planning to
sector.
approach the
Look,
Supreme Court? You just now said that the comments by Supreme Court were unfortunate.
Look,
Are you
why
planning
we
to
want to
approach the
court?
Supreme Court?
If Supreme Court has made some judgments,
You called
at
the-
that time we can think and decide. It is immature, it is premature to comment at this juncture. It is premature to comment at this juncture. And at the same time, look, those who, you had mentioned some amounts. Those who are getting huge amounts, they are from government sectors. Somebody has been deputed from the government sector to work in minister's office. They are getting amounts. If they are not working in government sector, they will get that pension. So if you are
Vinita,
against
the
all
point
pensions, then
here
say,
is that,
Mirror now has a
every
policy
pension,
that no government
if we
servants
just talk
should not
about the
get any
state of
pension.
Kerala,
You agree
every
with that?
pension
No.
has got a criteria. What is the criteria here is what we are trying to understand.
Are you asking me?
I had already mentioned that you are
Yes,
telling about some
Vinita.
pensions.
Yeah, so absolutely. So the criteria of selection of these staff, the staff is also not transparent or above board. So we really don't know what is the criteria for selection, what is the criteria for giving this pension, except that they have to have 2 years of service. So that's one big travesty. And then, as I said, we have to go back to the financial health, as the Shamsheer has already agreed that the financial health is under scrutiny. It has to be reviewed. And if you look at how long will you go on giving this kind of welfare benefits to the state and actually create moral hazard, as I said. And
Okay.
when the whole nation is going toward minimum government and maximum governance, I think we really need to relook at our staffing and our government staffing and the amount of revenue expenditure that's going
Okay,
towards talent.
Vinita, I'm just interrupting you there. In fact, we have 2 viewers as well joining us on the broadcast this evening. Let's also hear what the people of this country have to say about this policy. Sharat Kumar is joining us from Bengaluru this evening. Sharat, thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. Tell us, what is it that you would like to say?
Simple, madam. I believe that we have to cut the coat according to the cloth. Whenever we declare freebies, whenever we give subsidies, there should be an accountability clause to the fifth estate, that is the public, that is the voter, that is the middle class man, Sharat Kumar. They must explain to me the accountability clause. This is my income, this is the revenue, this is the expenditure, this is the deficit or OD. For state it is OD. When we will meet the OD and make it zero, that accountability clause has to come. Henceforth, all states, including
Absolutely, Sharat Kumar, appreciate you joining us. Here on Mirror Now this evening. We have Liji P. Abraham from Kottayam also joining us on the broadcast. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you will like to say?
Ma'am, it's actually nothing regarding, but just we are proud of our democracy. But these politicians are elite class, ma'am. They are the superior most. That's what they feel. They can frame anything as such for pensions. They can have any number of people they associated with them as their secretaries or so, and they can announce any pensions for them. But the other person who's educated and who strives for this job and gets through all the selection procedures and finally work out his life for 20 to 30 years, then he's eligible for pensions, But these people, democracy is the greatest of our assets, but this has been misused by these politicians for their own self. For their own self. So we have to have a screening procedures now. These people don't require any qualifications to be the president of India. They don't need any qualifications to have to come into any ministerial post. So there should be, other than this, there should be about 21. So when the other person, a normal citizen of a country, struggles with education and all those things, So these people have a superiority. They do frame anything. They are given subsidies put in the assembly. Why do they require that? But the subsidies of our citizens of gas and things are cut off. So they can frame. They are getting a lunch for 1 rupee.
All right, Liji Abraham. All right. Thank you very much for joining us here on Urban Debate and sharing with us your perspective. We have Major Gurdeep Samra from Ludhiana also joining us on the broadcast. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you would like to say?
I have only few things to say. Politics is supposed to be a social service. Now, social service means that they serve the society. Now, the social service does not mean self-service. It was MLAs who get elected even for few days, they get the pension. In Punjab, there are MLAs or ministers who are getting 7 to 8 pensions. Every time they get elected, another pension. Now they are stretching it to their cooks, their malis, I don't know, their sidekicks. I don't know how many. Is our exchequer a milk cow that anybody can just milk it? Is it done? Is it right? For a society where large number of people don't know where the next meal is going to come, these people have become a privileged club. It is high time somebody stops this absolute misuse of power. They are supposed to serve us. They are serving themselves. They live in big bungalows in cities, in the expensive cities. They have free travel anywhere. They have staff. They have telephones. I don't know what all facilities they have taken to themselves because they are not guided by any pay commission. It is self-pay commission. Who is going to stem this rot? We are becoming a politically rotten system. It is high time that somebody, some judge, wakes up and teaches them. Just imagine, a soldier has to serve a minimum 15 years on icy mountains, minimum 15, then he gets some 10 to 15,000 rupees pension. Here people sitting in cozy places are going to get pension. And somebody is trying to defend on the television. I feel so ashamed as a soldier of this country. May God bless them.
Major Gurdeep Samra, thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate this evening. And now, Mr. Shamsher, this is the reason why we are having this discussion today, because this is taxpayers' money. And, you know, there are just few taxpayers in the country, and most of them do not even have this assurance of a pension scheme, even after working for their entire life. A soldier, like Major Gurdeep Samra told us, yesterday we had Brigadier Singh calling us and telling us exactly the same thing, that, you know, a soldier has to work for about 15 years in extremely difficult circumstances. Only then he or she becomes eligible for pension. And here you have a scheme to, you know, make people eligible for pension, for lifelong pension, only after 2 years. What is the eligibility criteria is the question that I want to ask you. I'll come to you in just a bit. We have Shanti Swaroop, another viewer, joining us from Vijayawada this evening. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now. What is it that you would like to say?
Here I am observing the pension system. First, I appreciate the pension system. And meantime, it should implement minimum to the age of 60 years guaranteed to all the persons. All the persons. Meantime, the secondary people are there. It should go to the poverty touching persons also. I request is to provide minimum 7,000 or 750 something amount to a very low highest person. About your programs, about your services, about your programs, you can proceed. But meantime, this should be implemented to the major persons. One sector and second sector. Secondary, ministerial staff, retired persons, everything. But moreover, people should implement. Why? Because the ration cards and everything will connected to the pension only. At the age of 60s, problems will start at 100% problems. Your program is appreciated. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much for calling us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. Mr. Shamsher, I was just looking at some of the data. You know, there are about 7 social security pension schemes that are there right now, which I also mentioned during my introduction. And, you know, all of them give you monthly amount of 1,600 rupees agriculture labor pension and many other pension schemes that are there. There is a criteria that is there. For example, for National Old Age Pension Scheme, the criteria for allotting Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme, the annual family income of the applicant should not exceed 1 lakh rupees. Applicant must be a destitute. Applicant should not be a service pensioner. So, you know, there are these rules that person must adhere to or must actually be eligible for, and then only you get the pension. What is the eligibility criteria for these people? Can you explain to me?
Look, those who has completed 5 years in service. In service means in the staff of any minister or any opposition leader's office. They are getting only minimum 2,000. That's as per my knowledge, nearly 2,000. But somebody has misled
Forget
you,
about
they are
the
getting more
amount,
money.
Mr.
Some
Shamsheer.
pensions
Forget
are
about the amount
getting
here.
more. How?
Forget about the amount
They are
here.
coming from government service.
Forget
they are
about
coming
the
from
amount
government
here.
service. Those who are getting high pensions, they are coming from government services deputation. And
So-
also somebody has mentioned about the social service.
Mr.
Look, I'm asking
Shamsheer,
directly
forget
to
about
you.
the amount
Yeah,
here.
they
You
are
tell
social
me
service. We are
the
treating it as social
personal
service.
staff,
How
the
they
personal...
survive?
Okay, Mr. Shamsheer, please calm down. I'm asking you a straight question. And you earlier agreed to it that yes, there is a pension scheme for people who work as private or personal staff of ministers, etc. There is a pension scheme, right? And the eligibility criteria is what? That is what I'm trying to understand from you. They have to only work for 2 years with the minister or the chief minister or the leader of opposition, and then you're eligible for pension. Is this justified, sir?
Look, those who has completed, those who have studied up to 10th standard, and also those who has worked minimum 2 years, I'm agreeing with you. But they are not changing. They have to complete 5 years. Then only they are getting pension. Less than 2,000 they are getting. But unfortunately, you are propagating they are getting more amount.
2 years.
Somebody is getting more amount.
Not 5
those
years,
who are
Mr.
getting more amount is
Shamsheer.
from
2 years.
deputation. They are coming from deputation.
That was an observation
They are
of the
government
Supreme
from- government-
Court. 2
2 years
years.
is minimum. 2 years is
That
minimum.
was the observation
2 years
of the
is minimum.
Supreme
They are
Court.
getting only less than 2,000.
Yes, you complete 2
They are
years,
getting,
one
look,
day, you are eligible
you
for
asked me to calm
lifelong
down. I
pension.
am always in calm position. Look, they are always you people are propagating that you are selecting for a person for 2 years and you are changing and you are giving another person. It is totally wrong. Those who has been selected as a prime officer, minister's office, they are working for 5 years and they are continuing for 5 years again. So they are getting minimum less than 2,000 rupees as a pension. Those who is working more than, they will get another increments. But those who are getting more amount
Mr.
of pension,
Shamsheer, I'm interrupting you
those
there.
people
We
are
have
coming
another
from
viewer
government service.
joining us on the broadcast, Ashish
from
Trehan
government service
from
deputation.
Silvassa.
They are getting more
Let's
amount.
also hear what the people of this country have to say. Ashish Trehan, thank you for calling us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now this evening. What is it that you would like to say?
Welcome and thank you, ma'am, for having me on the debate. See, I would like to bring to your notice that there are freedom fighters who fought for India's freedom during 1942 and 47, during the Quit India movement. During 2014, the Ministry of Home Affairs, who governs these pensions, came out with a circular capping the pension, saying that in case of a deceased pensioner, his widow will not be entitled if the total income exceeds 2,40,000. These are all the awardees of Tamra Patra, the national award which was given to them by the President of India. They have been denied a meager pension of 16,000. Can you believe it? A meager pension of 16,000, and no political leader or no political party is willing to take this issue up. They have just forgotten these freedom fighters of. And my father, for 22 months, he served the prison term. He fought for the Indian national flag. He fought for the country's freedom. And this is what we get in the end. I mean, none of the politicians have responded to any of the mails or any of the appeals letters what we have put in. But when it comes to the political enrollments or any form of political benefit, the unity you can see on the screen comes instantly. They're just united for the benefits. These are hardly 2,000 pensioners left on.
Mr. Trehan.
Yes, sir.
That's an important point you've made, Mr. Trehan. Thank you for calling us here on Mirror Now on Urban Debate this evening. Mr. Shamsheer, I expect by tomorrow morning you are going to provide to us, the data since 1984. How many people are there who are the beneficiaries of this particular scheme? How much pension is being given to them? How much it is really costing the exchequer every single year? You heard what the people of this country also have to say, because if you talk about a social welfare scheme, then it should be for everyone, not just for a few people. We don't have a problem with you giving pension pension to a few people. But if the idea is social welfare, social security, then it should be for everyone. And if you come forward with these details, we will salute your respect and respect you for your accountability as well. Because today you raised questions on our data, but you did not have any data to prove us wrong, and you called it exaggeration. It was really sad to hear that, but I will like to see the data from your side so that the country also knows what the reality is on the ground. Mr. Shamsher, will you give us the data tomorrow?
Yeah, I will try my best. Anyhow, nobody has dissented with us. All of them agree with, somebody has agreed with giving pension to the staff, those who are working in minister staff. Look, the way we can stop corruption is by providing such pensions. Otherwise, they will do corruption. How can they survive? Social workers, how can they survive? Those, so somebody has self-service. Yeah, social service. They are servicing for the people.
We'll have to leave it there. But thank you very much, all of you, for joining us here on Urban Debate on Mirror Now. And we'll really look forward to the data from Kerala government. And people clearly are feeling bad because this is not social service, this is self-service, going by the details that we have got as far as this political pension scheme is concerned. Heading into a very, very short break, but there's lots lined up for you on the other side. A new phase in India's vaccination drive is beginning tomorrow, and we'll tell you all about that. Stay with us.